Hi there. So, in my last video, I posted about new beginnings, and indeed, preparing for an ending is very similar to preparing for a new beginning. But sometimes we get really stuck with endings and we get very caught up in the head, okay? But I often find our intuition and our knowledge of the ending comes through our heart. It's a sense we feel it. And but often we don't listen to what our heart's telling us, or we don't listen to what our gut is telling us, because all our energy moves up to the head. And so when all the energy is really intensive and it's in the head, the energy can become a little bit unstable and stuck there. We can get headaches, we can be overthinking things, lots of dreams, lots of thoughts. And so many things in our life begins as a thought, just one thought. And then it can just spread out from there and take off. One of the things that I've learned on my life journey as a healer, as a coach, is I've had some really brutal endings in my life. I've had endings where friendships have broken down. I've had endings in my family where there have been arguments which have trailed out for years and years and years, unspoken. And it's really important to energetically clear our field from that. And if other people are putting stuff onto us, that we give it back and that we don't carry it with us. Because if it has originated with them, then it's okay to return it. It's like, no, it's not mine. Please take that back. There's other things you can do in healing, which is the focus of prayer, the focus of intention, and also the focus of cutting cords, which is really a very symbolic way of dissolving energy ties and connections, so that you can free your energy up and free your space up a little bit. In this video, I wanted to talk really briefly about endings and preparing for an ending. So when you begin to feel an ending in your heart, and in this instance, I'm talking about the endings of friendships, the endings of relationships, you may begin to feel a little ache in your heart. And because it can feel uncomfortable, we just ignore it. We don't want to feel uncomfortable. So we put it to one side. And then we go into the mind and we go into logic about how to sort things out. But our heart is asking us to listen to it. And it has a voice that wants to be heard. So when I began to really see this energy and this method of healing in my own life and healing of teaching, I really wanted to share it with people, because I had gone through a period of my life where I had a lot of really bad endings, and I had a lot of people who had stories, lots of stories, and created stories, and possibly were not completely looking at their own things, and possibly my part in it, I was very involved in their energy field as well. So this disentanglement of the energy, it's quite important to take time with it, take time to heal from it, take time to understand it, and to go as gently as you can with other people's feelings or with a situation, if that's what's called for, as long as you're not in danger with that person. So when I prepare for an ending and I begin to feel an ending, whether it's a phase of life, the ending for me at the moment is an ending of a food. It's actually an ending of a particular type of food that I've been eating. And more over my life, I've been, I suppose, weaving in and out of being a vegetarian, and then I'm not a vegetarian, then I'm a vegetarian, then I'm not a vegetarian. And in this ending, for me, around meat and the connection of eating meat, suddenly became such a natural thing, because I really connected with the essence and the spirit of the animals. And I didn't want to have that flesh or corpse or in my body, even though I totally believe and trust that meat has a lot of nutrients and properties. But for me, I could really connect with the spirit of the animals. I could connect with their suffering. I could connect with their fear and the adrenaline that's in their body when they're killed. I could connect with their loss of being away from the herd or the family, and how that would actually affect their blood and also affect the meat. So in this ending, what I did was I just allowed it to unfold the way it needed to unfold. And I listened to the feelings that I had in my heart around what I was putting into my body and what would be good for my body, what was healthy for me at this stage of my life, of my journey, and what I wanted to eat. And I began to notice more and more that when I did eat meat, my body felt very, very differently than whenever I was completely vegetarian. And when I was completely vegetarian, I had a different sensations of calmness, of health, vitality, of radiance. And when I ate meat quite often, I would feel quite heavy and sluggish. There would be a certain level of anxiety in my body. So that's because I've been on such a deep journey, spiritual journey of prayer work and inner contemplation. So that was an ending for me. And that was an ending that I was able to prepare for. It was a relationship that I had with my whole life, a relationship I had that stemmed right back into childhood, memories connected to family dinners, Sunday roasts, Sunday dinners. And so what I did was I sat down and I journaled. I wrote down thoughts that were coming through and I acknowledged them. I wrote down the feelings that were coming through my heart and I acknowledged them. And also on a daily basis, I began to focus on prayer. I began to focus on connecting in through the breath, through the heart, in meditation, calming and stilling the mind, going to the heart, connecting with the breath, going deeper and deeper. If you place your hands like this, you may find that your hands begin to heat up as there's an increase of energy flowing down through the central channel of our crown, right down our head, and our hands are forming a circuit of energy. What I also did as I contemplated this ending of this relationship that I had with food was, or with a food group rather, because I love food and I'm a feeder. I still cook meat for other people. But what I found was that by contemplating prayer, and because I was focusing so much at different stages of the day on meditation and on prayer, that my whole system and thought processes and feelings and gut began to change, and that I began to follow a way very gently that was more agreeable with me. A brief meditation that you can do if you're contemplating an ending and you would like to open the heart to receive that ending, even though that ending may be very painful for you or may bring up a lot of challenges for you in the family, in your life, in your relationships, in your career. Take a moment, place your feet on the floor. This is particularly good if you can do this meditation outside on the ground. And breathe in 3 deep breaths. And exhale. And breathe in. And exhale. And a deep breath. And exhale. Allow yourself to feel the energy from the ground rise up through your body. Rise up through your root, your sit bones. Feel that connection with the earth. Feel that connection with the Divine Mother energy. Mother Earth, Gaia, Eru. Breathe in. In Ireland it's Danu. And exhale. Allow that energy of the feminine, the divine feminine, and the goddesses who represent the divine feminine. Connect in with those energies. Allow those energies and that sensation of being seated comfortably on the ground to rise up through your body, through your root and your sacral and your solar plexus, up through your heart, through your throat and your third eye and your crown. See that energy flow through the top of your head and allow that energy to return again all the way down from the top of your head, all the way down your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, your sacral, and your root. Accept that in all walks of life there are endings which lead to new beginnings. Our very existence is a cycle of death and rebirth. There are many cycles in your life which may be coming to an end, patterns, behaviors, relationships. They all began at some stage with thoughts. Allow your mind to become a rich and fertile ground of knowledge, of wisdom, of peace. Take time to listen to your heart and how your heart speaks to you of this ending. An ending that's either been forced upon you or an ending which in this instance you are cultivating an awareness of. Bring in words of peace, compassion, and kindness around you, around your inner being, and around your outer being. Compassion to allow this ending, acknowledging the emotions that rise up. Think of the ending. Face your fears. Face into the ending. Acknowledge the ending is coming and exhale. And now allow yourself to see that ending right in front of you, as if you're watching your own life from a distance. And you can bring that vision of your own life closer to you or further away. Place it and picture how this ending happens. One of the ways I like to imagine my endings is that I am holding another version of myself. I'm holding my own hands and I'm acknowledging myself. I'm acknowledging my soul gifts. I'm acknowledging that there's a cycle or pattern or behavior that has gone on as long as it can, and that there's energy which is no longer available to fuel this cycle and fuel this pattern, and that it's okay to embrace change. It's okay to embrace adjusting my course enriching my path in some way. And breathe deep and exhale. Now visualize yourself stepping back from that moment where you have spoken to yourself in your ending. Check in with yourself to see how you feel, where you feel the energy in your body. Does it feel that your body's balanced? Do you feel you're being pulled to one side? Do you feel you need to stretch? Do you feel that energy is stuck somewhere in your field, in your body? And take time to acknowledge that. Acknowledge. Do you feel something? Return to the heart. And return your hands together, creating a circuit of energy. And ask for support to come into your life in different forms, but that it manifests in the form that you need, gently, very clearly, and with precision. And those helpers can come in the form of people, can be dreams, could be animals. It could be a misdirected piece of information, but that it was not a mistake. Synchronistic lining up of events, as magnetically in this process you are beginning to electrically and magnetically attract to you what it is that you need to allow yourself to transition through this ending. And if you can and you wish your endings to be more peaceful if possible, focus on peace and focus on the heart. So what I have here is, again, my rose candle, my rose quartz, and my little tea light. I have my incense burning. And so during the day and the forthcoming weeks and months, I may think over what it is that my ending has been. It may just pop into my head when I'm doing domestic chores, or it may pop into my head when I'm going for a walk or conversation or randomly. But then things will start to move in my life, and that ending will come about. It'll be very natural. And if it's an ending with a person, and I have cultivated a very quick ending, then I ask that it's as gentle as possible, respectful as possible, and that that person and myself, that our lives are full of joy, full of peace, full of abundance. Also, with an ending that you are acknowledging, you can also ask that after some time and after a distance, there may be a coming back of hearts and minds and energies to discuss things. But sometimes when you need the ending to happen, you need to allow yourself to keep moving along the passageway and the pathway of allowing the ending to manifest and not return, and to allow it to be held, allow it to be contained. So I hope there's been some useful information in this video for you that's triggered memories and knowings and knowledge and wisdom that you all already have and that you practice. And I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Bye for now.